Hello, welcome to a new episode of Geek Lunch Me. I'm your host Chris, as usual, and in this episode, I'm going to be looking at cheap Star Wars collectibles. Yeah, at the moment, money's tight with a lot of people. Economies around the world have tanked. Everyone's feeling the pinch. So, yeah, I did a video a few weeks ago looking at some cheap movie collectibles you can pick up. Today, I thought I would focus in on some Star Wars. Star Wars collecting is a huge thing. There's lots of very expensive collectibles you can get. The Hot Toys 1/6 scale figures, for example, are fantastic, but they're going to set you back 2, 3, 400 quid. So yeah, I thought I'd look at some cheap collectibles from a galaxy far, far away. If you like what you see, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. It helps us out a great deal. And if you haven't already subscribed, why not hit that subscribe button? We'd love to have you here at the channel. So my first cheap Star Wars collectible is something that's been around now for almost 100 years, far longer than Star Wars itself, and very cheap to pick up, and lots of different designs to choose from. So yeah, first up is PEZ. So here you can see, this is my current Star Wars PEZ collection. I don't have all of them. Yeah, that's the fun of collecting. There's always something else out there to pick up and be on the lookout for. I'm sure you're all familiar with PEZ dispensers. We all had these as a kid, but just in case you're not, basically you get your PEZ candies and they all go in here like little bricks of sugar, basically, and you flick them up and it dispenses a sweet for you. Now, as I say, PEZ dispensers have been around for almost 100 years. There are probably tens of thousands of different designs you can currently get. They've been produced for loads of movies and TV shows, cartoons, things like that. And I say Star Wars was no exception. And the good news is you can still pick nearly all of them up, on eBay or collectors' fairs, things like that, pretty cheap, just a couple of pounds each. As with all collectibles, some of them will be worth a bit more than others, depending on their rarity. The Clone Wars cartoons PEZ dispensers. I've only got this one of Anakin. You can also get, I think you can get Ahsoka and definitely Obi-Wan as well. They're obviously rarer. They tend to command higher prices. Can go for sort of 20, 25 quid. This one though, just being patient. Anakin, just someone put it up for sale on eBay. I think it was about £4 or £5. So I jumped on that. So they don't come up very often. Now, here in the UK, I think they only released the PEZ Star Wars range, I think it was up to Force Awakens. So any of the ones after that, Last Jedi ones, and Rise of Skywalker, and Solo. I don't think. Oh, there are a couple of Rogue One ones. Never got released over here, so you've got to get them sort of online from eBay, from the States and from other countries. So they are a little bit more expensive. But again, sometimes if you're lucky or patient, you can get a bargain of the Solo. A Star Wars story PEZ dispensers. They came in this tin. 4 of them. There's a Han, Chewie, L3, and Lando. And I picked this up, I think it was on eBay, for a tenner for all 4 of them together from the States, which was a fantastic deal. So as I say, there are bargains to be had. Also was this Force Awakens tin, which I think had Rey, Han, Chewie, and BB-8 in it as well. And again, that got as an absolute bargain on eBay as well. So I say worth being patient and checking out your online auction sites. And one of the most recent releases is from Mandalorian. You've got Mando and Grogu that come in a double pack. Now here in the UK, again, so these are only available in the States. So here in the UK, they can sometimes go on eBay for £20, £25. But again, a bit of patience. I picked these up. I think it was about £12 altogether, including postage, from the States. So not a bad price at all. There's also a range of Funko ones in style, sort of Funko Pops as well. The other one I've got is this Greedo one. As you can see, it's a lot more stylized. There's a lot more of those out there to get. They also do giant size ones. You get some PEZ dispensers that are about this big, which are pretty cool. They do crop up on eBay from time to time, probably looking at about £35-40 on some of those. And then lastly, for all you Jar Jar fans, I know there's some of you out there, this episode 1 motorized PEZ dispenser, which when you press the button, Jar Jar's tongue grabs a PEZ and brings it out to you, or it would do. I've never actually opened this one. I mean, there are still some PEZ as you can see in the back there. Obviously been sitting there since 1999. So I mean, to be honest, I must say they're mainly just sugar. So they probably would be okay to eat if you really wanted to, but I think I will just leave this one sealed. This does crop up on eBay from time to time as well. I think recently I saw one going for about 45, 50 quid. So yeah, a bit more expensive, but as I say, in terms of cheap collectibles, the ordinary Star Wars PEZ dispensers can be picked up, for usually a couple of quid each. So my next cheap Star Wars collectible is from a video game that came out in 2013. I think it lasted about 3 years before Disney suddenly pulled the plug on it unceremoniously. I'm talking, of course, about the Disney Infinity figures. Now, I love these figures. They're cheap and they are beautifully designed. Disney Infinity was, as a video game, came out in 2013. And yeah, you've got to hand to Disney. It was a great marketing move. Let's bring out a video game where if you want to have more characters to play, you've got to buy the figures that then sit on the special platform that which you also had to buy as well, and then you could use the figures in the game. So of course, you're going to have kids, begging their parents to buy as many of these figures as they could. There was all the Disney characters, obviously Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck and all that lot. Also all the Marvel characters as well. You get Jack Sparrow from Pirates of the Caribbean and things like that as well. But you could get these Star Wars figures. Unfortunately, I say about 3 years after it came out, Disney suddenly pulled the plug. I don't think it was selling as well as they thought it was going to. So unfortunately, there were a lot of figures that were planned that never actually appeared. What that does mean, ironically, for a game called Infinity, there are actually a finite number of Star Wars figures, and this is all of them. So what you basically ended up with was the 4 heroes, from the original trilogy. You then have the bad guys. Well, they went up to Force Awakens, so you had Rey, Finn, and Poe from there. The Clone Wars cartoon was obviously represented as well, of being as the game was aimed at a younger audience, and then because when it came out, Star Wars Rebels was the sort of big Star Wars cartoon going as well. So you get most of the crew. Unfortunately, the line was cancelled before they did Harrison Dula and Chopper, the robot. But you get everyone else. And I say the design of the figures is just sort of like this, this animated, cartoony style in a sort of matte finish. They're really nicely painted, really nicely sculpted. They're similar to something Gentle Giant, the studio, used to bring out some Star Wars collectibles, and they did a sort of some animated maquette style sculptures. Okay, yeah, they were bigger, but they'd set you back hundreds and hundreds of pounds. On eBay now, you can pick most of these up for a couple of quid each. I think they come in. Some of them come in packs of 2. I think Rey and Finn came together. I think possibly Anakin and Ahsoka from Clone Wars may have come together as well. But yeah, these look great. You've probably seen some of them sitting up on the shelf in my videos. I've got a couple more sitting on my computer desk upstairs where I edit these videos together. So yeah, I think the Disney Infinity Star Wars figures are an absolute bargain and could easily be a part of anyone's Star Wars collection. So there you go, just a few cheap Star Wars collectibles you can add to your collection for not very much money at all. Hope you enjoyed the video. Take care, and until next time, eat geek and be merry.